What is up, everyone? Today we are finishing up the prep work for the Pavers. It's been almost 3 weeks later. I had a little bit of a delay due to ordering. I ended up going to the location, which I guess was his Home Depot, and trying to order everything, and I couldn't. So I ended up having to do a special order, garage dog, and now that special order, due to Corona apparently, had taken a lot longer than they originally wanted to. It took about 3 weeks. They actually came a little bit earlier. They said around the 15th or 16th or 17th, something like that, and so it's about a week earlier now. So time to get in gear. A couple developments. One, I have painted. I wasn't going to do that, but then it kind of occurred to me, if I'm going to be doing a paver, I should probably paint first so I don't get paint everywhere. So that's done. Well, 99% of it, I still have like the final details and stupid stuff, but I could do that underneath a piece of plastic, no problem, or may not even need to, just have to be careful. But the majority of it is done. Block came in for the rock wall. Those are the toppers for the rock wall. Those came as a surprise one Wednesday when preparing to prep the house for painting. I was pressure washing. Actually, that corner right there is where I saw a huge wasp nest, so I decided to get the spray, turned off the pressure washer, and at that moment I heard a rather large diesel engine start up directly in front of my house, and I went outside and I saw the delivery man driving away, giving me a thumbs up out the window as he was driving, to then find that these were in front of my mailbox. The entire street he could have put them in, or the two driveways he chose in front of the mailbox in the street. So I had to take care of that. So I moved him back here because this area isn't going to be, there's going to be grass, but let's see here, like going all the way to the tree. This is where the wall's going to be. So I figured right there, I'm at the rotel anyway, I don't care, I'll put the block there, and then these were just the remaining. Thoughts on purchasing. Get too many. I say this because of this. I mean, obviously you don't expect them to be broken when you get them, but you're also not inspecting 350 of these as they're getting off on the pallet, or getting a pallet delivered, or in my case, surprise delivery. But in case one of them's broken, or you're breaking it in the middle of installing it because there's just a bad cast, whatever. Or, this is what happened. You see the distinct color difference in those? Luckily, I only count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I put them on the ends, that way I don't have to use them if I don't have to. But there's definitely a distinct color difference. If I do need them, which I think I ordered about 15 too many. If I do need them, I'll put them over by the tree where the shed is going to go right here. And then in the future, this shed is going to go bye-bye, and this is going to turn into a kind of like a seating area for maybe like a picnic table of some sort, or something like that. So I wanted to give a little flexibility, and then it's actually going to go where that truck, or not truck, that tree is, right next to it in the corner. next to the exceptionally overgrown garden and weed-filled grass. But that's garage dog becoming king of the world over there. That's not the point. That's in the future. That's a different yearly video, probably next summer. So I went over all that to then go over this next step. After when order too many, like I said, expect to run into complications. Obviously, you want to plan for as many as you can, but sometimes you just can't. I'm smoking some chicken, by the way. How I end up measuring this is how follows. Where you see the rock is where the pavers are going to go in general. I measured the pavers. They are 16 inches, and they are actually 16 inches. Some pavers follow the weird system of how wood is cut, where a 2x4 is actually 1 3/4 by 3.5. Whoever thought that was a great idea. So when you measure, make sure to actually get the correct measurements. So that's what I did. 14 wide. That's going to cover all the way to the end where the jasmine is, and then the end we're going to put some 12-inch long by 8-inch deep and 2-inch wide kind of cover edging stones to kind of keep it together. And on top of that, there's going to be some lighting all the way through here. So when you do that, you want to make sure you calculate all that out to make sure there's enough space. I originally was going to do 15 here, but there just wouldn't be enough room for plants at the edges, so 14 just gave an extra 8 inches on each side, minus the 2. So that gave us additional 6 inches, so that gave a total of 14 inches from the end of the fence to the end of the paver, 14 inches for the plants and rocks on either side. It's pretty much perfect for these. Coming down here, exact same thing. Stupid toy. Gonna measured it all out, measured this all out. If you get something weird like 14 3/4 brick, don't round down, because what's going to happen is you're going to have to cut it. So round up. So that's why, even though I know I bought more, which for the pavers I bought 375, I'm pretty sure I only need 360. And that's with me rounding up, knowing I would have to cut, and knowing there's a possibility that those cuttings are going to be used somewhere else. I don't think so, but if there's a possible usage for them later, I would want to at least be able to do that. So keep that in mind. Always round up. When covering flooring like this, round up. It's easy. It's kind of like the same principle as measure twice, cut once. You can take material off. It's really hard to make up for it. So when measuring and calculating it all out, do so. Second tip though is usually, this is the weird part. So like I said, this is 350 of these style. The reason why I got so many extras, originally I was wanting to get like 4 or 5 extra, because I've done a few of these and you never really run across too many, and even then when you do, what you end up running across is like this little edge piece falling off, or a corner of it breaking right here. And as long as you don't use that in the top, which even then, if you put a tarp on, it won't matter, but you will never see it, because behind here is probably dirt. So usually you see that. Very rarely have I really seen the front, but in those occasions you do want to have those extras. But the reason why there's so many extra is it was about $10 cheaper, which isn't a lot, but it's still $10 if I just got a full pallet. And a full pallet was $350. And I'm pretty sure I need like $335, $340, and that's with the extras. So I just got the whole pallet. Made it cheaper. Delivery was cheaper. In fact, I think that delivery was free because they weren't able to do it all in one because of the timing due to Corona. So they actually just volunteered to deliver these first, and the Pavers next. Even though, like I said, it was a surprise they came so early. These have been here for almost 2 weeks. They were supposed to be here a week ago, not 2 weeks ago. Next step. After measuring, ordering, you have all that stuff done. Obviously this is laid. Go out and buy a leveling rake. This comes in about 4 pieces. The 2 braces, the actual rake, and the handle. Takes all of 5 seconds to put together. What I really like about it is this. See how you pull back the higher areas in the middle and the lower areas on the side? If you keep doing that enough, it's hard to do in one-handed. It will level it out. A small, normal, metallic rake is not going to do that. I went to Home Depot and Lowe's, and I think, what was the other one? True Value, that's what it was. And all these were like $100. I mean, it's a pretty high quality rake, don't get me wrong. It's completely aluminum, it's nice, it's good to go. But $100 for this thing's a little stiff. I went on Amazon and got one for like $40 or $50, I think. I'll post the link in the description for the exact one. Just click on it, and if you ever need one, just buy it from there. That way, I can tell you, I've leveled this entire area. Oh, battery ran out. So anyway, like I said, click on my link in the description. Get the rake. It was Prime, so it's here in 1 day. Go ahead and save yourself like the $60 and use that. Save yourself the heartache of having unlevel ground and get a true leveling rake. Another thing you can do, could be a little cheaper, is you can get a 2x4 or a 4x4 really, and some rope, drill a hole on either end and pull it along the way, and it'll do more or less the same thing. You do have to kind of weight it down, so put like a brick or something heavy on it and pull. That's just a giant pain. And the problem with that is, let's say you have a giant pile, you can put the teeth in there and pull it that way as well. This works for pretty much anything else. So even though it's a leveling rake, it's good for a lot of purposes, and it's a pretty heavy duty rake. I'm very happy with it. So I leveled everything out. I still have a little bit of leveling to do. After that, I'm going to take a hose, I'm going to water this, get it nice and wet, because the next step, let's go for a walk. Next step is this. I don't want settling, or at least unlevel settling, so I'm going to, this is the boneyard, so beware, and the Project Central. I'm going to be using the compactor to compact it down, re-leveling it, and then compacting it again. Doing that will help limit uneven settling, so your pavers aren't like There's Garage Dog. Anyway, random note, if you go to Milorganite's website and you take a picture of your lawn, some of you might have noticed that I have a Milorganite shirt on, usually when I'm in my garage or working outside. They're good for outdoor and garage work. They'll send you a t-shirt for free, so keep that in mind and you get that sticker. So I'm going to go ahead and water this down. This is a big uneven area, because this is where I put my extra wheelbarrow load. to kind of explain the settling, this was probably a good 3 or 4 inches taller before, but me walking on it when moving these drastically settled it. So this compacting is a must. I have this 10-inch compactor for the it's hard to reach areas like over here. I'm not going to get that machine in there or in here. Some of the areas over there. So I got that. That's for very, very small areas anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. And then the reason why you want to water it too is it keeps the dust down primarily. That's my concern, but it also will just allow it to be a little easier to settle in. It kind of goes in the dirt a little bit, kind of compacts it in there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and water it, and then I'll put you in a stand, and I'll bring the compactor out and I'll do a little compacting video. So I got it watered. Today's about 90 though, so it's drying pretty fast. But I watered about half an hour ago. Let me get that out of here. So I also did this section over here. Just kind of want to do one section, kind of show you a difference. See how that is. Let's get you closer. See how that is really loose. Let's go to the other side. And that's definitely more compacted. This type of gravel, you're never going to get it too compacted, but this is what I would expect. I'm going to go over all of it one more time, but it's not too bad. I don't know if you can see it, but like I said, there's a substantial difference. It's just really hard to put in camera. This is 1 pass, no pass, 0 pass. So I do not do this every day. I don't do it very often. Technically this is probably only my 5th, 6th time ever using one of these machines for this purpose. But now I'm sure there's probably some golden rule or something about how these are supposed to be used, and I'm probably breaking every single one of them. But in general, this is what I have learned. This is a pretty powerful, in comparison, machine. There are bigger ones, there are smaller ones, but this is a pretty good size one, 5.5 horsepower. It's definitely doable for one person to lift it in, probably not in the back of a truck, but maybe on the trailer. And I have a bigger one I'm actually working on right now, but that's much more heavy duty. So how I've always had to happen is when you turn this on, it's going to want to walk in one direction or another. In my case, it's like this. The larger scoop end is what I call the walking side. That kind of gathers everything and goes through it. You don't... I've seen some people, I suppose it's probably the more appropriate way of doing it, but I've seen some people pull it like so. And yeah, that's probably how you're supposed to do it. That can get heavy. You could just guide it that way, but I find it really hard to guide. It's a lot easier to kind of guide it kind of like you would a lawnmower or something like this. The problem is you're getting a whole lot of exhaust coming towards your direction. So that's my preferred way. I'll probably try both. I don't really like the other way, but maybe I just don't have enough time doing it. I don't know. I'll try this way first. But when it first starts off, it can be a little jolting, so be aware of that. But once it gets going, it's pretty manageable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over each little pass. It's going to cause these little ripples. That's fine. You're going to go over them. It'll all work itself out. I want to say you probably want to go over every piece of this about 4 times, maybe less. And it's not too horrible to get out. I mean, like I said, it's pretty manageable. If you're able to get this machine out, you can control it. Now, if you're unable to get the machine out of like a trailer or drag it across your street or your driveway or whatnot to bring it wherever you're going, you're gonna have difficulty. But I see you're flashing, so let me go get something to drink. It's a little hot outside. I'm going to put a new battery in you, put you in the stand, and we will see what this turns out to be. I think it's warmed up, so I'm not going to choke it, but if it doesn't, I'll choke it. But let's do a little bit, maybe give you a little higher of a stance. There we are. And let's go. One final thing, I'm a walking ocean nightmare, and according to my sandals. Don't do this in sandals. I'm at my house doing this on my own property with no liability on anyone else. It's my fault if I hurt myself. I understand that. Don't do this with sandals like I am. But if you do, just know I'm telling you not. Okay, so as you see, it's not that hard. I didn't even push it, like it just walks. I didn't even bother pulling it. I don't really care to avoid getting work clothes smelling like exhaust. It's not like it's going directly in my face, and all is better. But just walking on this is a completely different experience. Now, this is 2 times in most areas. I'm going to be doing it maybe 2 more times, just to kind of make sure it's good to go, including over there. But after this, the next step is going to be sand. And then the final, well, close to final step of installing the actual pavers. And then there's the lights and other lights and all kinds of other stuff, but the pavers will be done. All the other stuff can be done pretty easily with little to no help required. I guess even the pavers can be done with no help, but it's a giant pain. You wouldn't want to have to do that by yourself. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty easy. Like I said, if you can manage to drag it over to wherever you're needing to use it, it's pretty good. As for cost of one of these, I know a rental yard in where I live will rent this out to about $80 a day, I want to say, and then it's daily fee after that, or I think it's like a flat fee plus hourly, or then there's the day, whatever their rate is, but expect somewhere around 100. But if you can get it for only a few hours, and it's only a 30-minute drive, half an hour, 45-minute hour drive, you can, depending on how much you have, if you don't have all that much like this, you could easily get this done if you really had everything ready, prepared. Just pick it up, put it down, start it, clean it up, take it back. 2 hours, max. That's if you had to stop and get gas on the way home and probably a drink. So, yeah. Well, if you like what you see, definitely subscribe. If you haven't seen the video I made on what this was before and what I had to do to get it to where it is now, watch my paver prepping video, first one, and you'll be caught up. So definitely watch that one. Put a thumbs up. That helps a lot. I will see everyone later. Have a good rest of your day, and definitely subscribe. So, today's the day. The morning, I'm going to be preparing everything for the installation of pavers. I have a few low areas of gravel, so I need to recompact it. I've shifted some around, and garage dog is looking for moles. Other than that, it worked out pretty good. Everything's nice and flat and level to a certain point. I mean, you're never going to get it perfectly level. But according to the level, the slope is going away from the house. So that was my main concern. I don't want water to get on top of the paver and then roll down towards the foundation. That's the exact opposite of what I want to happen right now. So, as a recap, I'm going to compact this again, and I'm going to start moving in some sand. I'm not going to level the sand until the actual time for pavers. I'm probably not going to film a lot of the paver installation, unfortunately, because I'm going to be doing it hopefully in 1 to 2 evenings with a neighbor of mine. He's going to help out, and I don't want to interrupt and start filming and whatnot. So I will bring back, when I start bringing in the sand, I'll discuss the sand that I chose, and then we'll go over the next step. All leveled, compacted, went over about 4 times again, so it should be good to go. Unfortunately, I do have to use this today. My other one, the wheel decided to break, but it's not horrible. I could deal with it. But this is the sand. It is, and there's already an acorn on it. This tree is horrendous when it comes to acorns. But it's called concrete sand. Don't know how well you can see that. Maybe closer up. As you can tell, there's larger pieces and a lot of smaller ones, but for the most part, it likes to clump up pretty easy. So the next part of this is I'm going to be leaving about this size of pile all throughout. I have 4 or 3 yards of this, which should be good enough for about an inch. And then I'll have a little bit left over for a section for my smoker, because it's no longer going to be my back patio anymore. And also give a little extra for the base of this rock wall, or brick wall, whatever you want to call it. So that should be coming along pretty nicely. Then after the rock wall, we'll be leveling the grass, we'll be taking care of that nonsense and all these horrendous weeds and rototilling, and yeah, that's a different video, but hopefully the next time you see this, I'll have a lot more sand out. I might do one later with the sand dispersed. It's probably going to take me a few hours to do that. It's not too hard. I mean, the rock was a lot heavier, so that's the like harder part, and I think with help it took me about 2 hours to do that. And I have about 4 hours before anyone gets home from work to help, so I think I should be pretty set in getting all of it done. That way, once it's done, we just kind of level it, figure out the level we need. If we need more, I'll have a little bit left over, and we'll just put more and rake it out and start putting pavers down. And after that, we'll go through the final step. Okay, so this is the outcome. Just piles. I think I have like one wheelbarrow left over, which is unfortunate because I'm going to need some more for the wall. But I do have some in a container on the side from the previous project. So I think between the one wheelbarrow and the one, I think it's like 20-gallon bucket or barrel, it should be pretty good. So later, obviously there's garage dog and house cat. House cat is enjoying the sand. Not really sure why, and from the looks of it, so is garage dog. But yeah, when I start loading pavers, it's going to be, this is going to be kind of spread out as we go, and if there's any left over, then we'll put it at the end next to the wall area that's going to go. So that's good. So we'll probably start in this corner, work our way over to house cat and garage dog, and then just kind of go on forward. Like I said, I'm not going to probably film a lot of that, but once it's down, I'll bring back and kind of do an overview. Now, I am going to be putting an edging on this, but I do not have that yet because it's on back order. Thank you, Corona. So, I hope it will get here soon, but I don't want to have the pavers in my driveway any longer, and my opportunity for fast and efficient help is right now, so I'm going to take it. So next time you see this, the pavers will be in. Yeah. One thing I did forget to mention, I hope it's self-explanatory, but on the side of the house over there, goes all the way to the front of the house, and next to the driveway, which is where the sand was, a driveway. When you move stuff like this, obviously you want to have a mental idea of where it's going to go and how much, but when you move it, you want to put it to the farthest point first and work your way back. That way you're not having to run over it, more or less. So keep that in mind. Other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. It took me 2.5 hours alone, not really hustling or trying too quickly, to move about 3 yards, I believe it was, of sand, so it's not too difficult. As you can tell, I just bought and there it goes. The hardest part was just shoveling it, because the driveway gets in the cracks, and then your shovel hits the crack, and then you stop and say some non-family friendly words. It's just, yeah, okay. See everyone after it's laid down. Okay, so it's the next morning. I got all of this done. Apparently my squaring technique is off, because as soon as you get from right here, there's enough rock and sand. But then once you start getting down over here, the rock kind of tapered to the right. So I'm going to go and get not more sand, it's like a thicker, like a bigger piece of sand. I'll show you when I get it. And just kind of fill it in. But I'm also going to be putting lights on these. Lights are going to be in the middle of the big ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Where the hole is, that's 5, 6, 7, and 8. Potentially ends right there. It doesn't start on the end. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm going to map it out. But really, just have to take the leveling rake, yet again, buy the leveling rake, don't just get like a normal rake. The brush is pretty useful. Look at this. Another bee's nest. So many of those. And just kind of spread it out. I mean, it's been walked on quite a bit over here, so not leveled, but like I said, leveling rake. And yeah, so I'm just going to carry the rest of the pavers over. There's about another pallet and a half left, and at that point it'll be ready for this evening to finish, and then potentially even get started on the rock wall. But that'll be a different video. Okay, I'll show everyone the results tomorrow. What's up, everyone? So it's a few days later. A couple of improvements have occurred. I am done with the pavers. Hey everyone, today, it's a couple days later, I am done with the pavers and wanted to go over the outcome. Keep in mind that I have a sprinkler running in the background, so you're probably going to hear that. I am preparing for a complete redo of all the grassy area. So, got this done. I was four pavers short. So, got that taken care of. I have some right there, and there's another one over there. And unfortunately, the reason why I was short is because situations like that, they were actually a lot more brittle than I originally had expected. Which kind of brings up a point. When you get a larger paver, expect to have unfortunate things happen, such as this. It's just kind of like the nature of them. Smaller pavers will have less of a likelihood of that. But, it happens. Can't really go against it. I like the look of a larger paver, and I think that just looks a lot better. I'm going to be doing a video on rock walls. It's not going to be very comprehensive, don't get me wrong. It's just going to be my experience with it, because I have zero experience with rock walls. But this is layer number 1. No, 2. And then it was a little lower over there, so that's third layer, I believe. But yeah, done. I did have to go and purchase some of this filler material, the 1/4-inch rock, because when I had filled the area over here and compacted it, apparently my squaring ability was off. Let me show you. See over here, there's the same material. Well, over here, I put a little extra because I had a little extra, but over here, everything was fine. But over there, I didn't quite have enough material or rock or sand, so I had to fill it in. No big real bad thing, but it happens. What I am going to be doing is also be doing a video on installing some lighting. So in this area, I don't want to get wet. This area standing in the corner, going over there, is a bedroom in this corner of my house. In that corner, there's an outlet, which is approximately here-ish. I'm going to be putting another outlet on the outside of it. That outlet is then going to be connected to a box, and then we'll be doing some lighting. You have to have a transformer box for 12-volt lighting, naturally. So we'll be doing that. The reason why I bring that up is I put a 1.5-inch PVC pipe down there, so in case I need to run additional line, I can. It's actually pretty useful to have something like that in case you ever need to. It prevents you from having to rip stuff up. I'll just put it that way. So keep that in mind. Between the people I had helping me and myself, I think it took about 4 people to 7 hours total to do this. And after purchasing the additional ones, not including the ones that were broken, because I bought 10 more, there's a couple of them, like I said, were broken. I think it's about 385 16-inch pavers, about 40 pounds each, so that took a while to load. That's just to lay them down with the base done. If you're going to count the prep for just the base, as you remember, I had to take out some additional dirt because of the natural stone I had right there, extended to right where those children chairs are. It was probably a good 6 inches, I want to say, from this end, and maybe 1 or 2 inches over there. So if I didn't have to do that, and I didn't have to remove a couple other things, that's probably my first full day. If all I had to do was light grading, hauling of material, and digging the ditches for the pipe, installing the pipe, and then compacting it. Let's break that down. Light grading of this area, as well as over here, probably took me a good 4 hours. Like, mind you, all by myself, using a rototiller, rake, and some shovels, and a couple, my mind just went blank, a couple of wheelbarrows. There we go. Probably, yeah, like I said, about 4 hours. Digging in ditches, probably another hour. Then we have filling it, connecting it, probably another hour. Moving the rocks, that's pretty subjective, because I don't know how far you have to move them. If you could dump them right on your site, then it's going to be a completely different story. But for me, 2 hours. So right now we're at a full good day's work probably. So you could potentially do this in an entire weekend, assuming you had enough help. Like I said, doing this alone for the first portion of it, and the second portion having other people helping. That's a much different scenario. All in all, alone, if I had to do it, probably be, it wouldn't be a weekend, it'd be longer than that. You're probably looking at a good 24 full hours of working, because it does take a long time to level and put it in right and cut, and because something that only takes you 1 hour with 4 people doesn't take one person 4 hours. It could take that person 6. Just because it saves you so much time walking back and forth. It's pretty astounding what that does, so keep that in mind. I want to say a good 24 hours. This rock wall, it's not going to take very long. So, final step I didn't actually show. I kind of went over it earlier, but not too much. After I compacted everything, I did put this material down next to Garage Dog. It's just a concrete sand. Leveled it out, made sure no one walked on it. That includes, the most perpetrating of the walkers. And then leveled it. At that point I got some help. Then all you really could do is, once it's level, put down a line. Except this time it's exactly the same way. Except you don't use it for leveling, you use it to make sure your line is straight. So for example, granted I put sand over a stake in the corner, and I put another stake down here, wedged it pretty close to the ground so it's not actually touching it, but it's beneath the level of the paver, and then I put the line or the paver right next to the line so it's straight. The reason why is sometimes the paver isn't 100% square. I mean, if you think about the people making this, they're making hundreds, thousands a day, I don't know. So they're not going to be perfect. So keep that in mind before you do that. Make sure, and the level, once in a while, I went over with this smaller level right here. I'll put a link in the description below for a pretty good one. But I want to say maybe every 4th or 5th row, I leveled it, make sure it was good to go. There's no problem. And I don't want it perfectly level. And this is another reason why. I live in the Pacific Northwest. We get rain. The house over there has a slight grade sloping down towards Garage Dog. When water is coming, I want the water to not run to the house, but away from the house. And the water that's already here, I want it to run away from the house, into the drain, and then out. So either way, no matter what, water is going to be leaving the vicinity of the house. That's just important to go over right then. I didn't show any drainage right here because there's already a system of French drains. Exactly the same thing, it's just they start in a corner, goes all the way to the other corner. They're just longer. There's 2 rows of the exact same thing. And then a rock wall, that's a completely different drainage video. But yeah, so this should be the end of the, oh no, one final step. Edging. I don't think I'm going to show too much of this because it's pretty self-explanatory. I found some edging material. They're just 3-inch wide bricks. I'm putting them down, and then I'm gonna stake. Let's stop here for whatever reason. So edging material. You want to keep the sand from moving so the pavers don't settle inappropriately. So you put this edging there, then the dirt behind it, and then whatever you're going to do on that one. It will just kind of keep the sand. It's not necessarily there for the paver. It's there for the sand to stop it from moving. Because not only will it move, but it will crack. In fact, I'm sure I can find one that's already doing it, because I didn't quite get it all the way done. I'll go on my next point of that. So after the edging material is done, way I'm going to do it is just for aesthetics. I'm going to put in rocks right here, also for drainage. And I just like the look of rocks. This block is going to go right about where that broken piece is, and then it's going to start to have a U over to the plants. At that intersection where the U is, thin plastic is going to be, oh yeah, sorry, I walked over here. It's a smaller version of it. You see that crack? You're going to have that entire area. That's just what happens. It's a stress fracture. So then the thin plastic is going to be running all the way down both sides, all the way down to this end, to the wall. Rock wall, you don't have to worry too much about because it's already there. And then it's going to start over here. I'm not going to worry too much about the concrete because yet again the concrete's there. As you can tell, concrete's holding all that stuff in. But the plastic I'm talking about, it's not over here. Where did it go? It's a little expensive, but it does, oh there it is. If you get in something that they call a contractor's pack, it just looks like this. That's a bundle of 6 36 feet each. They're 6 feet long, so 36, 6 times 6. And then you just put that on the edge, and like I said, it keeps the sand in place. You buy some stakes, and you stake it in place. And then that keeps everything from settling. It puts a nice crisp line on it. Right here we're going to put some grass with some roses in the center of it. Real nice. Originally I was going to be putting this here shed on this, but now we're going to be putting that there barbecue on the center. Nice little seating area because this tree is going to be shading that all day long, while that's a good place for like lunch. We usually don't have lunch with a lot of people in the evening. I'll be in this general area, and in this general area also have a fire pit in the near future. But yeah, so that's the end of the paver video. I'll be doing a rock wall video here soon, so if you like what you see, keep on watching. Definitely subscribe. I'll be putting the links for a couple items down below, including all the tools that I used, going from the shovel I bought, the edging I just got done talking about, the stakes. Sorry about that, got a little interrupted there. Yeah, the level I just purchased, the leveling rake. I cannot express the importance of that one. If you watch this entire thing, congratulations. Not many people probably will, but leveling rake, get it. It makes this outcome so much better, so much easier, so much faster. I can honestly say it would not have looked nearly this well without it. So, leveling rake. What else is there? Well, either way, definitely keep this in mind. If you have any questions, if there's anything I did wrong that you know of, let me know. If there's anything I should have improved on, is there anything that maybe I did that you didn't do that you wish you had done, whatever. Leave some comments below. I will see everyone later, and when I do my rock wall video, I will be sure to include the edging, so keep an eye out for that video. More to come is after the rock wall, like I said, it's going to be complete revamp to this just forest of crap over there. That's why the sprinkler is on, to make sure the dirt is softer to work on. It's going to be on for probably about 4 days total, because it's about 3,000 square feet in total, including what's behind the fence. I'm going to be doing some grass, so it's a large area. It's going to take a lot of water. Okay, well, definitely like, subscribe, keep on watching. See everyone later. Bye.